Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today I want to talk about money. More specifically, the credit earning potential within Elite Dangerous. Now to some this is a dirty subject, and to others, for many in fact, it's a very controversial subject. But the fact remains that for many this is a subject that just never goes away. Some people find earning money within Elite Dangerous far too hard, others find it extremely easy. But regardless of where people sit on this, there is one thing that seems quite clear, at least to me, and that is there continues to be a problem when it comes to earning credits within Elite Dangerous. And this really does seem to be something fundamental to the game, something deeply rooted, and something that's very much about balance. In fact, on the subject of balance, it's something Frontier have never yet discussed. We don't know what they feel is a reasonable amount of money for players to be earning. And I appreciate this is something that developers generally don't talk about anyway. But what is reasonable? A few million an hour? Tens of millions an hour? A couple of 100 million an hour? All of this has an impact upon how the players feel about the game and how they're able to influence and enable themselves within the game. And this really is a sticky subject, isn't it? Because ultimately it comes down to how you see credits. For many people, the credits are a mark of progress within the game. For others, they are a means to an end. As an example, these two opinions can be summed up in two little quotes. For example, when you have all the money and all the ships, there's nothing left to do. That's from one camp, and the other is in disagreement from that, saying that when you have all the stuff in the game, it really is just the beginning. For me, I stand in the camp that says money is just a means to an end. It's not a measurement of progress, but it does allow you to do the things you want to do. And some people feel very strongly that those activities are gated away from them due to difficulty in earning the credits. So the question then, the point I really want to make, is twofold. First, what is the value of credits to people? And second, does the issue perhaps come down to a sense of feeling rewarded rather than a mere issue of credits? Before we go any further then, let's have a quick look at my credit balance, and I want to make it clear this isn't to show off. If any of you know me by now, you'll know that I'm not the showy kind. So the reason I'm doing this then is to illustrate my standing within the game, because obviously it does have an impact on my thoughts and feelings towards things. What we're looking at here then is my credit balance on the PlayStation 4 version of the game. I haven't put an excessive amount of hours into this, just a few dozen really. The majority of this has been accumulated through community goals. I've got about 90 million credits now, so I'm a little bit further ahead than what you can see here. And I've also got a Type 9 as well as a few other decent ships. Things are a little bit different on the PC, and here I've got close to 3 billion in assets, I believe. 1.5 million in cash, as you can see. Obviously I've been playing here since 2014, so that does have its own impact. This has all been made from a huge variety of different activities. But some of you may think this is a very large sum of money. Others are going to see this as quite a small sum of money. After all, there are people out there well into the dozens of billions of credits. In my opinion then, from where I stand, making money in itself is not really a problem. It's not too hard to go out there and make money. The real problem comes in how you make the money. And as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the biggest problems the game faces. Now let's leave aside for the moment the arguments as to whether credits should or shouldn't be a measure of progress, and instead focus on money as an enabler, what it allows you to do within the game. It's true, and due to the design of Elite Dangerous, you can head on out in a Sidewinder and do just about everything that someone in an Anaconda can achieve. But the difference is the scale at which you can do it at. There's nothing stopping you exploring in a Sidewinder, but it is going to take you a lot of time, and there's going to be a lot of places that are out of reach for you. There is, however, probably a few things stopping you fighting Thargoids, for example, in a Sidewinder. So for me, I really do see money as a gateway, something that blocks people off from doing the things that they may want to do. Now, this isn't a call for making things easier, far from it, do not mistake that. It's actually a call to make things that much more interesting and that much more diverse. After reading the internet, to checking out the forums, checking out Reddit and checking out YouTube, as far as I can tell, the things that really do attract people to the huge money earners are two things. Firstly, obviously, they want the money because it enables them to do things. Secondly, because the usual ways of making money are a little bit on the dull side, shall we say. And for me, it's where these two issues meet that really is the point of contention. And here's why. I often see people asking how they can go out and make money, to which they often receive the answer, go out and do the things you enjoy. Now here's the problem. Some of the activities that people enjoy really do not pay much money. For example, some people like mining. Mining is probably one of the lowest paid activities within the game. And whilst mining itself is due an overhaul and it's probably one of the most underdeveloped areas of the game itself, perhaps aside from exploring, that doesn't really excuse the fact it's also extremely low paying. For me, I can really relate to and understand people who put down a subject they enjoy in order to go out and chase an activity that makes them money instead. And this really is one of the largest incentives that drives people towards huge money-making activities such as Quints and Raya. The other reason people go for that, of course, is simply just to accumulate as much money as they possibly can, as fast as they can. And that too, I feel, is understandable. Although it's perhaps another subject for another time. So yes, people put down interesting activities to go and do an activity they may not find interesting because that activity pays a lot more money. Passenger missions are a good example of this. You can go out there and find passenger missions that pay very, very well. In fact, they're one of the most high-paying areas of the game still. However, you can equally find passenger missions that pay pitifully low. In fact, there's plenty of passenger missions out there, and indeed all other types of missions that just pay a few tens of thousands of credits. And really, should people be expected to pick these types of missions up? And if so, to what purpose and to what point? And yes, I do know some people may do them simply to enjoy them. There is of course also the other side of it, doing these types of missions to affect the background simulation. And this really is another problem. You get a lot of player groups trying to take control of a system by taking on missions and other things like that, and they can spend weeks, months, or even sometimes years trying to achieve a specific goal. But then the worst possible thing happens to them. Their system becomes the target of their next major money-making deal. Thousands of players descend upon their system and wreak havoc upon their background simulation work. So yes, making vast amounts of money in these ways is not without its victims, shall we say. But really, I feel this is just another symptom of the same underlying problem, and that's activities in general just do not pay enough money. The other side of it, of course, is that the areas and activities that do pay the money are not very well communicated by the game, and so many people actually miss them. The point I really want to make today then is the following. Frontier are going to be overhauling all the core aspects of the game in 2018. Some of these aspects include trading, mining, as well as exploration. The intent, hopefully, is to bring more depth and diversity to the game and make it a lot more engaging for players. However, there's one very important aspect that I feel Frontier should not underestimate, and that is the fact players will need to feel rewarded for these activities. Whether the rewards come in the form of high credit payouts, or whether they come in the form of cosmetic items, or even titles or some other things, is really open to debate. But the point I really want to make is that no matter how engaging and interesting the game is, people will not want to feel cheated or undervalued. And for me, I really feel that is one of the reasons so many people try and gravitate towards the high money makers in the game. So then, with an upcoming overhaul of the core mechanics of the game, why not also have a rethink and overhaul of the reward system? And that really shouldn't just be a pure focus on credits, but rather a system that makes players feel valued. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.